Well, Steve, we did talk about two games, which the Larkfield and then the what do you call it, Glebe game. Probably a bit frustrating lack of consistency, left you quite frustrated. I would have thought.
Yeah, I mean,
you could have had more.
Ultimately, 1 point from 2 games, not fantastic. We haven't scored a goal either, so yeah, there's negatives there. But actually, within the performances, there's positives.
And it could easily have been 4 points.
Yeah.
On another day.
I mean, you get what you get, don't you? No, you're right. I mean, I felt when you compare it to, let's say, Sutton Athletic, which is our last win, I think we played better in both games than we did against Sutton. Yeah. But that's football at the end of the day. If you don't put it in the net, or as it was against Larkfield, if you give them cheap goals, then you get what you get, don't you?
Yeah. And if you start with, say, Saturday against Larkfield,
yes,
where we lost 2-0. 2-0 maybe flattered them, but I think probably they did deserve the win on the balance of play.
Yeah, we came in at half time 0-0, and I was relatively happy with how we played, to be honest. I know that's all a matter of opinions, but bearing in mind what we'd worked on, I thought we used the ball okay. Probably didn't hurt their back line enough, but in fairness, they weren't really hurting us either, so it was a bit of a stalemate. Yeah,
that first half was just got stuck in midfield. And it felt a bit stodgy almost, that we're having the ball, but nothing was happening with it.
Yeah, I think we found it hard to penetrate their back line. I think they've got a solid defence. Keeper played a high line, and so any ball you tried to put in behind, he was kind of there. The two centre halves, but particularly Sam Fitzgerald, I thought were dominant. Probably the best centre defender I think we've come up against so far this season. And they're a robust side, like they're full of athletes. That they were hard. But I actually thought, particularly the first 25 minutes, I thought we actually started really well.
Yeah.
And particularly up into midfield, we were moving the ball around quite well. We just couldn't get in behind. Frustratingly, knew it was going to be a tight game. Spoke to the boys at half time. Talked about a couple of things we just needed to be a little bit better on. One of which was defending throw-ins. Unfortunately, didn't take that on board. Both goals culminated from throw-ins. They've got a very lively striker in Kesner Clark. He's kind of made that out of nothing, the penalty. Just that sort of electric acceleration.
I thought it was genuinely a penalty. We couldn't argue with it.
No argument whatsoever. He's read the situation quicker than anyone else. Had the acceleration to get there, and yeah, I can't really blame Bence. You know, second one possibly Bence. I was going to say has to hold his hands up, but he did. They went straight through it. So, but that hasn't happened. Like, you know, we've spoken complimentary about Bence a lot this season. And he deserves that.
Yeah, he's got lots of credit.
The first mistake he's made. But again, be honest, Heinze's backed off and allowed Kesner to turn him.
It was just frustrating because after their first goal, if anyone looked like scoring, it was. We came back into it more, and it looked like we were going to score, and then they just got the goal and it just killed it dead.
Yeah, it's really frustrating because I actually felt up the hill suited us because it meant we could sort of drop balls in behind, and when you got the likes of D and Reg on the pitch, you got to play to your strengths, and that's a massive strength for us. D at the crossbar, was that a 0-0 or were we 1-0 down by then? I can't remember, but you just sense the crowd was starting to get behind us, which is fantastic.
All building up, and
then we're going to let a cheap one in. Yeah, really annoying. But you know, Larkfield, a good side. I think, you know, we spoke off camera. I think they'll be in and around the playoffs. I think they've got experience, quality, and it's a little bit like the Fisher one, wasn't it? We kind of went head to head with them, but there's just 2 moments where we've kind of switched off. But that's football, isn't it?
And you went into a huddle at the end of the game, and for quite a while, what were you saying to them? Because
speaking about not learning their lesson, you know, we spoke about the throw-ins at half time. Didn't just speak about it. We literally walked through the solution to the problem, and unfortunately, the boys, they haven't done what we asked. Both goals have come from throw-ins. It's a real basic of football, but if you don't do the basics well, you know, you leave yourself on. It's a controllable. That's what I would say. But both of those goals were controllable. If we defend the throw-ins properly, neither ball comes in our box, and they don't score for me. Yeah. They haven't really had to work hard for either of those 2 goals, have they?
No.
And that's frustrating. Right. That's frustrating. But, you know, we're all learning. No one's claiming to be the finished article. And
well, it obviously worked because you turned Tuesday in the Glebe game. That was a much improved performance. It was one of our best performances, I thought.
Yeah.
And maybe it was because it was a 4G pitch, maybe it was but we actually played some decent football. We were looking to play proper football.
Yeah, 100%. Again, watched that game back. Actually, quite enjoyable watch, to be honest. Some people, outsiders, people that weren't there, will possibly look at it and go, "Oh, they can't be getting too excited about a draw at Glebe," because obviously Glebe's league position at the moment is not fantastic. But they've just changed manager. Frankie and Emma have been in there 2 games. They drew with Sutton prior to us, and I actually think they're much better, but the league's so tight. They're definitely, I don't imagine that team will be in relegation trouble. There's some very good players in there. They 100% played their part in the game. I thought we were the better side, I guess.
I thought they played better than quite a few teams we've played.
Yeah, definitely. They definitely played better than quite a few sides we've had points against. Yeah. So I was pleased, but the ball didn't go in the net. But it wasn't for lack of opportunity.
Well, no, that's what I mean, you changed the lineup a bit, and that helped. Like Matt Black did well.
Yes,
Joffrey came in and did well, so that all helped the performance.
Yeah.
But it also helped us create some we had 5 or 6 chances, and another day you would have scored 2 or 3 of those, and have been out of sight.
I'd go as far as saying we had 5 or 6 chances in both halves.
Yeah.
I genuinely would. I think in the first half, I think Matt's had one where he's put it over the bar. Reg has had the one where thankfully for him, it got flagged offside. But he's completely mishit it and it's gone wide. Yeah. Lucas had a header at the back post, which he just overstretching on a little bit. I'm pretty sure Rory had at least one long range. We had the goal where Joffrey put Chris Lowell in and they give it as offside, which is extremely tight. Yeah. That's just the first half. Second half, again, Matt Black's put one just over. Rory's put one just over. Joffrey's had his overhead kick. Matt Black's put the low cross in that Lucas.
It did feel, you're right. It did at the time.
There was a lot of chances. They probably had two, maybe 3 throughout the course of the game. So I feel like we're playing some good stuff.
The first half, the possession was sort of fairly evil, but we had the chances. The second half, we had much more of the possession, and like you say, it didn't feel like to us that we'd had as many chances. But you're right, we probably did. Maybe like you say, it was just down the far end or whatever.
Yeah.
We had much more of the game in the second half, and you just think any other day. Well, it ended up being one of those where it's quite an odd one because you're saying we're quite happy with the point. Actually, that was a good point, but also you could say, well, we could be disappointed because we didn't win it. I think you just got to be happy that was a good point away from home.
You've got no rights to anything in this league. There are no terrible teams. Every player's got dangerous players. Every player's got good experience. Every team's got good experienced players. You look at Glebe. Their goalkeeper was playing step 4 last season. Their centre forwards played in the Championship. So both ends of the pitch, they've got proven quality. Yeah. You ain't got no right to turn up there and win. People who didn't bother coming, people who just look at it online might go, "Oh, that's points." But I think if you actually turned up and watched it, I've had supporters messaging me going how enjoyable a game it was and how well we played.
It was.
And we probably completed more passes than we did in most of the other games. I know that doesn't mean a lot, but the way we were passing the ball, I think we caused a lot of problems. We just didn't have the finishing touch.
I agree. Like I said, one of the best performances we've had, and yet we get a point. We just get a point. But there again, you've got to be happy with that because they won't beat down the bottom, like you say. And they played some good football at times, but I think we could have won it, but I'm not disappointed that we didn't.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, you want to win every game you play. Sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes, let's take the Sutton Athletic 1-0 win. Probably weren't great value for that. Yeah. We got a goal for a mistake. Didn't create that much else. Absorbed quite a lot of pressure. Possibly got a little bit lucky, but no one's gonna say sorry. We got the win. Tuesday night, we had a hell of a lot more control of the game, and we haven't managed to score. So I just think if we play like that over 10 games, it will come good for us a lot more than if we play like we did against Sutton over 10 games. So I feel it's relatively encouraging.
Yeah, I agree, because it sets us up for Saturday against Corinthian in the Cup. And it's like, given their last game how they were, we can have a positive feeling going into it. We don't expect to win, because we never do, or expect it as a given. But we can go on positive on that game.
Yeah, but again, anyone who starts getting ahead of themselves there, Corinthian have drawn 3 of their last 4 games, including against us.
Yeah.
They've drawn with Phoenix and they've drawn with Sutton Athletic. So they're not bad results. They've also won in the Vars quite convincingly 3-0. So they've only had 1 defeat in their last 5 games. So I'm under no illusion. Like, you know, I thought, let's be honest, that game against them could have gone anyway.
Yeah.
As it was 2-2. We had those 2 dodgy penalties given against us, which I still haven't really got.
Yeah.
If they'd scored them both, we've lost. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. Sutton are no mugs, and we're going to have to be on it. But I think if we play like we did on Tuesday, and if we can just get the ball to go in the flipping net, which hasn't been a problem we've had too often this season, we'll be in a good place, I hope.
Yeah.
Because the cup, you know, it's a cup competition. I guess it's a bit of a distraction, keeps a bit of interest in. I know Scott on the board would love us to be able to get far in at any competition, but I'm sure Corinthian feels that they're saying.
Yeah, brilliant.
Cheers.
Cheers.